Hi, this is Anil and welcome to the video tutorial for the Learning Light on C++ programming. So in this tutorial we're going to learn about the private inheritance in C++. So in the previous tutorials we have learned about the public inheritance and the protected inheritance. So when we use the private inheritance, the members of the base class are going to act as the private members of the derived class. So let's see it with an example. So here in this tutorial, for the demonstration purpose, I have created a class called person, and I have the name as a protected member, and I have a public method which is gonna set the value for this name. Alright, now we're gonna build another class. Let's call it as student, and the student is gonna inherit from the person class, and it's gonna be private inheritance. So I'm gonna use the keyword private and then the class name, which is person. Alright, now here, just for the demonstration purpose, in this class student, let's have a method called display, and this display is gonna print out the value of the name. So it's gonna be cout, and we're gonna say name, and let's end this line. Alright, now we have a class called student, which is inheriting from the class person, and it is the private inheritance. When we use private inheritance, the public and the protected members of the base class are going to act as the private members of the derived class. So here this name and this method set name are going to become the private methods and the members in this class student. So these two are not available to the outside functions, and also not available to any class which is derived from this student. For example, let's say we had any class called class graduate student, G student, and here if we try to access any of this name or set name method, that is not possible. That is because these members are going to act as the private members of this class student, and that's why they are not available in this class G student, which is going to be derived from this class student. So just to demonstrate that, I'll try to access the set name method here. So let's say public, and let's create a method to set the value. So let's say void set G student name, and it's gonna take a string value, so it's gonna be string I name, and I'll try to save that in this member name. So it's gonna be name equal to I name, which is not possible. So now I'm gonna create an object of this G student. So it's gonna be G student, and let's call it as Anil, and Anil dot set G student name Anil. Alright, now we get the error. I'm gonna build and run this. You guys can see the error, and if I open up the logs, it says person name is protected. In a member function void G student set G student name, person name is protected. So when we use the private inheritance, the public and the protected members of the base class are going to act as the private members of the derived class. Alright, now if you wanted to access this name, what we can do is, since this name and set name are available in this student class, we can have another method. So in the student class, another method void student set name. Alright, now we're gonna take string value, so similar to that, I'm gonna copy that and paste it here, and we're gonna call this set name method. This set name is available in this class student, that's why it's gonna be set name, and it's gonna be I name. And here in our G student class, we're gonna access the public method of this student, which is set student name, and I'm gonna copy that and paste it here, and we need to pass the I name, and because of this display is a public method of this class student, it is available in GStudent. So after this we're gonna print out the value. So anil dot display, and I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna build and run this. Okay, still we have an error, logs. Okay, that's because we haven't specified the access specifier here. When we won't write any access specifier here, it's gonna consider as the private inheritance. That's why the compiler thought that when we use the private inheritance, all the methods are gonna act as private. That's why they are not available outside. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna change this one to public here, and I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna build and run this program right now, and now we don't get any error, and we'll get Anil. So you guys can see Anil. So when we use a private inheritance in our program, the public and the protected members of the base class are gonna act as the private members in a derived class. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like my Facebook page, and stay updated with the latest tutorials that we're gonna make, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.